Hello again, most esteemed viewers. My name is Jekyllstein Gray, and welcome to another Homework Communism episode of Jekyllstein Gray Plays. Today we are looking at a game that I have heard is quite the gem. I'm still kind of recovering from work. I'm pretty beat. But I heard this is a underlooked gem, and I already owned it, and I got it and I'm playing it for my class now. My class on, the Gothic and representation in games. Yeah. Huh. Well, that's a mystery. My first thought was foul play is involved. But who knows? Why does it keep freezing up? I don't know. It's actually, I wasn't expecting this to be fully voice. I mean, I guess there was a subtitles option, so I guess I did. But, I mean, this game did not. This game, I think, last I checked on Steam Spy, this game has like less than 20,000 copies sold. So that's a damn shame because I'm already interested in this. I mean, I've heard it's the works of Edgar Allan Poe, and To the Moon. So of course I'm gonna like it. Gray skies, dark waters. I also just love that kind of title. Okay. So it's a pretty standard point and click adventure interface. Oh man. There was one time when I was like, there was a big extended family gathering, where I found out that someone had someone had set the timer, someone had set the um uh, someone had set the oven timer for like 48 hours instead of 48 minutes or something like that. Who's Robert? Is that her dad? So her mom, it looks like her mom's the one who went missing. Um I I might be crazy, but it looks like this is like I might be going crazy, but I thought that the voice changed, like her voice actress changed. For a second, I thought it was like a flashback voice of the mom, but I guess not. So she's living with her. Oh, so Robert was probably one of her uncles. So it's been a year. Oof. Things don't look very good. I'm not going to read all of that. Let's see. Gonna check out the dishes. Okay, I do like this. No one can talk like that, but people can think like that, you know? So this is actually reminding me a lot of of Night in the Woods. There's the family member that's gone, but has kind of cast a shadow over the whole story, and especially the protagonist. You've got kind of a dying Eastern U.S. town, stuff like that. I mean, this is just obviously first impressions. I have no idea whether it'll actually and hold up like that. She looks like a judge. Her robes looks like what did John Oliver call them? America's only formal muumuus or something. I can't remember. I will say that her face. One criticism is her face kind of looks a bit off, like Uncanny Valley-y. Something about that empty stare. Let's see. The mirror, because there is an R in the world, but in America I look in a mirror. Because no one has ever stared in the mirror before. It's not like that's what they were designed to do. Dang. There was one time one of my aunts actually had to get stitches once, like when she was a kid, and to this day we don't know. I think that's the mom. To this day we don't know why, like, what caused it. Because she was too young to talk. There wasn't any crash or cry. No one saw what happened, and she also got and she couldn't remember, so she couldn't say what happened. I don't know. I thought that was interesting. Gus. Oh. So is that her brother? Oh, I don't know if I mentioned this, but speaking of Night in the Woods, the next game I actually was looking. The next game that's assigned for me for homework that I'm gonna try and record for homework communism is Night in the Woods. So, ugh. That's actually a good question. Another question is, why did Zeus always take the form of a bird when he wanted to impregnate a woman? Oh my god. Greek myths are messed up. Oh, so that is her dad. So it's been a year since she went missing. And she went missing on New Year's Day? Huh. Interesting. I don't think that's a coincidence, but I might be wrong. That sucks. Huh. Interesting. I'm 17. That means I know everything about life, says the 19-year-old. So she's the oldest of the fam. Knowledge must be accessible. That's a weird... The voice does seem to be different occasionally, seemingly at random. You know, but all this stuff is... all this stuff seems to be very... what was I going to say? All this stuff is... you know, all this stuff is general, you know, this game is probably made on a really low budget, and so I can forgive, you know, some facial animation errors, especially when you don't have to look at it. It's like if LA Noire had something like, had faces like this, then it would be a problem, but in the game, I lost my train of thought. These ones are beautiful. So he's an ornithologist. I wonder why I'm choosing all the bottom options. I wonder if there's some common thread. Or maybe it's just a coincidence. I mean, that's fair. I don't know. I mean, part of me... It depends on how he's letting him down. I kind of feel like some grace is again, depending on what he's actually doing. Oh, man. I am definitely... That is one thing I can relate to with Robert. Okay. I like how the voices are, you know, they're echoey. I don't think very many games do that. Although, again, maybe I'm just going crazy and misremembering. So is this in... They mentioned the Chesapeake in the... So this is in Virginia, I think? I'm sure they didn't also include the you know, racist quotes. Your mom had good taste. Scratch, 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 scratch. See, that's what happens when you make your cursor a definite, you know, object like a feather. That makes it really fun to just pretend to, like, yeah, again. be writing. Look, I'm using an old-timey quill. Oh, I'm really stretching here. But Robert, how if you are like you? Let me try that again. But Robert, if you don't want people to go in there, you must have something evil to hide. Oh, did she have Are they talking about pesto pasta? Because man, pesto pasta is delicious. Huh. Interesting. That's cool. I don't see very many. Well, no, I don't think they're bluebirds. I think they're blue jays. They're the ones with like the little crest and they're blue and white. I see them sometimes around where I live. I also see cardinals, and things like that. All right, let's see what's beyond the house. Fine. I'm surprised I can't pick up the shovel. Okay, Lena. I mean, I get that you can't open the hatch. This fence looks pretty climbable, at least from where I am. But yeah, to each their own. It's funny how there's a degree of separation between adventure game protagonist and not, I shouldn't say protagonist, adventure game player characters and the players themselves that you don't that you don't see in most other general game genres. I mean, just think of how many times adventure game characters just say, "Nah, I'm not going to do that." When you tell them to do something, like most games, like most game characters would never do something like that. Ugh. Let's see. They got good stuff. The Odyssey. I don't know much about 1001 Nights, except for, all the Orientalist stuff that I absorb, but I know that's not, accurate. Grimm's Fairy Tales. This is kind of reminded me of The Last Door. Raising Your Spirited Child. Oh boy. I've seen books like that around this house, or my house. Trying to see what we got. Italian folk tales. Huh. Alright, well, some of the books I can't read, and, Mists of Avalon. I'm wondering if there's any... I'm surprised that there isn't any Poe and whatnot. Alright, I got some Terry Pratchett, which is one of those writers who I still need to read. Brief History of Time. On the Origin of Species. Which is somehow still controversial. Just for the record, a scientific theory is not... When people say the theory of evolution is a when people say that the theory of evolution is a is a theory. What they really mean is that it's a hypothesis, which it absolutely is not. So this is also inspired by, you know, those early turn of the century adventure games. I think they explicitly mentioned Grim Fandango, which I also really need to play. I've tried it like 2 times. One time I didn't get very far. I can't remember why I stopped. It's been a while. The more recent time, I got to, you know, that, remember, if you've played it, you know that puzzle with Glottis singing on the tree, and you have to, you know, the one that everyone hates, basically. That one is, I got stopped. I finally did that one, and then it was like, and then my game crashed. I was having a lot of computer problems back then, and the last time I had saved was right before that puzzle. So it sent me all the way back there, and I'd gotten a decent amount into year 2 by that point. So yeah, garbage. Now I'm just thinking about that that quote from like the Phineas and Ferb movie. Again, why do I keep bringing Phineas and Ferb up? But the anyway, the Phineas, but there's that line where Stacy's like, an invisible force? No way, Candace. I am a woman of silence. At least is what my horoscope said. So where does he? I mean, I can imagine why he wouldn't want to sleep there. Mauve-Lloyd, okay. So here we have the generic. You totally get what we're saying, but we also can't technically say what we're referencing. So the Beagles, Mauve-Lloyd instead of Pink Floyd, you know, yada yada yada. I mean, to be fair, the name the Beagles and Mauve-Lloyd just makes just as much sense as the Beatles and Pink Floyd. What's this flyer? Nicholas and the Mimsy Porpingtons. Oh man, that is sadly plausible. I shouldn't say sadly. I don't want to judge people's band names, musical taste, but that's pretty. I mean, I should post a picture of like all the stickers on my desk. Common App. Oh man, I remember that. Why is the Wizard of Oz a thing? I know it's interesting. I mean, I guess it's interesting. Oh wow, this is just straight up a screenshot. That's unexpected. But you know, not that bad. I also like how you could actually read this. I'm not going to because that would take too long. But if you want, you could pause the video and read it. I mean, I can't tell you what to do. And what was I gonna say? Oh, that was a weirdly loud noise that actually kind of spooked me. Oh man. Who the hell is Missy Franklin? my apologies to any diehard Missy Franklin fans out there. Okay, this is weird. This is actually really weird because you can use this book by Hatsune Miku to you can use the title of. I mean, obviously you could use A Christmas Carol or The Great Gatsby. I think The Great Gatsby is in public domain. I know A Christmas Carol is. Christmas Carol is short, feel good, and in the public domain. That's why there's so many adaptations of it. Hey, it's another Hatsune Miku book. So we can use the Hunger Games, but we can't use the Beatles or Pink. Like we can use the books that are getting. We can use the books that are getting we can use the books that are getting that are still being printed, and we can't use, I don't know if Pink Floyd is still around, but we can't use the Beatles, which with half the band as of this recording dead and not making any more the band itself not making any more music, like. Oh, here's the WD-40. I have no idea what that is, but, oh, hey, it's another character. Alright, I like this kid. I haven't read any Agatha Christie or Hound of the Baskervilles, but I approve of this Poe. I don't know about what the mystery of Edwin Drood is. What is that on his shirt? Oh, it's a swamp thing. It's a Shape of Water shirt. Yeah, exactly. I mean, she probably knew. I certainly didn't. Hey, I wish I could say that was not a. I'm ashamed to say that is not an uncommon. It's not an uncommon use of the uncommon scenario in my household, or the household I'm in, my family's household. But what if the fingerprints are so similar that the make a choice that will become reality? Okay, interesting. The what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, there was for those of you who don't watch Last Week Tonight or don't know about this, after the Madrid train bombing, there was the guy got arrested who had never even been to Spain, but his fingerprints matched. But then they found someone who had been to Spain and whose fingerprints also matched. And they discovered that sometimes fingerprints are so similar that they can't detect a difference or something like that. You might to paraphrase Randolph Bourne, you might as well try and stop an elephant. How did he say? He was talking about World War I and how people he was talking about World War One and how people were, I guess, responding, or sorry, no, how a lot of progressives were like, yeah, we need to go, and it'll be a great way to, and he's like, no, and he compares it to, he's like, the same person has a child has the same chance of stopping an elephant in its tracks as they do about steering an elephant in the direction they want to go. Let's see. I want to do a Jekyllstein Gray Talks video about, Randolph Bourne and To the Moon because To the Moon is To the Moon is because Randolph Bourne was also an early disability rights, activist person. And some of his quotes are depressingly relevant to my own life experience. I actually wrote a midterm essay about that yesterday. That's one of the reasons why I actually didn't record anything yesterday. But I got a lot planned for today. I kind of want to do a little talks episode maybe after this. And then I'm gonna have to do some chores, and then I want to finish. Hopefully, my plan is to finish that Dragon Cancer, and then do some more. A friend of mine texted me, and he was like, "Oh yeah, no, there's more to Doki Doki Literature Club, so I'm gonna record some more of that." So. Okay, Spock. I really wish my computer could do face cam while also running games and encoding video, because right now I am doing the Vulcan salute. I actually had to, make it, I actually couldn't do it for a while. I would have to, press my fingers apart and, hold them until I was able to just, do the Spock thing. Scratch, 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 right. Right. Let's see. It's okay to not be fine. Wait, she did? But I thought that there was they said that there was no evidence or no reason to suspect her death. I'm pretty much all those things. I'm not dumb. I am quiet. Well, I'm not. I shouldn't say I'm quiet. I just am not very talkative in a lot of scenarios. Obviously, I am very talkative in scenarios like this. So the mom seems like she's, as of right now, she seems like she's kind of like the grandpa from Night in the Woods. So, very, yeah, again, gone, not in the light. I mean, the grandpa's dead in Night in the Woods. But the mom here is, okay, I like Gus. I like Gus. It is good. I think there's some iffy elements, but Oh man, I feel you, kid. I feel ya. Who needs friends when you have books? Oh, Dill's the... I completely forgot about Dill. So Jem's her brother, I think. And Jim and Dill is the kid who keeps coming over. Yeah, I haven't read To Kill a Mockingbird in a while. But it was pretty gothic, so of course I liked it. And this kid knows the gothic pretty well. Okay, just probably a good idea. I'm actually kind of glad I have subtitles on because I keep my so a lot of my cousins don't like subtitles. They're like, it keeps you from looking at the characters' faces, and I can see that. I don't really mind that much. I prefer having subtitles on. But I also, especially in scenarios like this, where I hate to belabor this point, and I really do. I'm really liking this game so far. But the Scully. I think she's Scully. Good for you, dude. What you do about your play's doing Shakespeare? I mean, not your play. I mean, your school's doing Shakespeare. Why do all these games I love have stargazing? Okay. Okay. I don't know how, like, I don't know. I don't think my grandparents play favorites. I think they kind of, I don't know. I feel like it's a bunch of, it's a waste of time to so again, you can talk about books, you can use celebrities' real names, but you can't use Magic the Gathering. Oh man. Well, it's funny because I'm not self-conscious about acne. It's like the one thing I'm actually not self-conscious about. So we got some yoga stuff, got a doll. Got some drawings. Yeah, every school has one of them. Where is Merle? Huh. Interesting. So, is a fairy market a market where you sell fairies? Or is it a place where fairies sell things? Like a rush embedded... Oh, come on. Like a rush embedded swan, like a lily from the beck, like a moonlit poplar branch, like a vessel at the launch when its last restraint is gone. Interesting. Oh man. I didn't have nightmares, but I will say that yeah, Miss Trunchbull is kind of scary. October 17th. Jack had a housewarming party tonight. He and Sarah just moved into their own place after they had their third baby, a girl, Shayla, Sharon, Shailene, which is, I suppose, something to celebrate. Before that, they'd been living with Jack's parents. I went, even though I wasn't in the mood to see Jack and Billy and Macon, Macon, I don't know, and Lee and their wives. Sarah made us ribs, and those were delicious, but the skin under her eyes was purple. So bags, I guess. Macon and Crystal were barely talking at dinner. They'd fought again, it was obvious, probably about Macon's inability to hold down a job. I don't know why they don't just get divorced. Lee drank too much beer, and maybe because of the stigma. Lee drank too much beer, and Diane smelled like smoke. I left feeling depressed, but also relieved, like I saved myself from something. It's strange being the only one from the old group who isn't attached in some way. Jack and Sarah and Macon and Crystal both dated the whole time we went to William Harvey Carney. They got married a few years after. Billy met Claire at Tidewater Community. Lee married Gracie at first, but they got divorced 3 years later, and now he's dating Diane, one of the waitresses in town. I never dated anyone in high school. Me neither. A few people in college are not as of this recording, but I didn't want to marry any of them. I think marriage is an institution of power designed to control women. So I'm against the state institution of marriage, not two people getting together and saying they want to be married. Saying they're married. Anyway. For all my friends from tech, it's normal not to have two kids by the time you're 25, but Jack's always asking me to go on and send me with one of Sarah's cousins. I think he understands why I always say no. 31, not old enough that I have to be married, right? You don't have to get married at all if you don't want to. Besides, I prefer my worth. I'm on an important assignment right now. I've been very busy, but I'd wanted to write more about that assignment I mentioned, so here it is. I've been doing contaminated water assessment these past few weeks, so dark waters? Great, and then I'm sure there's going to be clouds or whatnot. The state government negotiated the contract with EnviroCorp, again, generic-sounding company, in order to investigate the state of the bay. I have to say, my team's preliminary findings don't look good. So her job kind of sounds like my great grandpa's job, kind of, in the broad strokes at least. This summer, low concentrations of oxygen in the water caused one of the largest fish kills in the bay. Okay, yeah, my great grandpa. I mean, he's retired now, obviously, but he worked in fishing for like the California fishery something. He was supposed to control the fish population and all that. The algal blooms in the water cause die-offs on a scale that's already affecting the economy here. Macon told me that the price he can get for his fish is higher, but the fish are so scarce it doesn't matter. He's still making less than he was last year. Because of that, my attention has turned to perch, flounder, and bass populations. I'd rather be studying birds than fish, but working for EnviroCorp means I get to stay in Avets Landing. So that's the town, I'm guessing. I'm making more than I ever dreamed of as a boy, so I shouldn't complain. Especially when I go out to have a few drinks in the con and he's worried about paying for his tab. Oh, that's the dad. I thought that was the mom for some reason. So I wonder if that's going to be important. Let's see. So I've been to all the upstairs places. Here, let me go to the to-do list. So I got the WD-40. Let's see. Again, I just gotta avoid looking at the other eyes, cause they are not. They are so vacant and empty. Like one major complaint about this game. I mean, again, you can... okay, I got an achievement. The woods are lovely, dark, and deep. Let's walk to the tracks. Walking is better than biking any day. Okay. Oh, wow. She is tiny. I think that the 2D art style with 3D graphics is interesting. I definitely prefer the way that... I mean, the 2D art's gorgeous. I'm just... and I think the 3D models look fine, except for the eye, the faces and the animations. But again, you don't really see them that often, and they're usually far away and whatnot, so not a big deal. Just worth mentioning. Sometimes I feel like I'm not being negative enough, so I feel like I need to point out, something. And I do, it's funny because I haven't watched a completionist episode in a while, but I do kind of follow his ethos of like praising games on what they do well rather than focusing on the negative. Obviously, some games are just terrible, and I do think that it is important to point out the things you don't like as well. Hey, Violet. Is she the oldest? Has Merle never... I can see how that'd be a present if Merle never was, allowed to go out here. Oh, wow. Camera shift. I know, that's why I'm coming with you. Going to Mordor alone. It's the anniversary of your mother's disappearance. Of course everyone's going to be wound up. Oh man, I'm bummed out about those bottles. They're messing up the natural... They're ruining the sublime! I need to tell that story at some point. It's funny, a lot of these olds, I guess this is stylistically similar to Grim Fandango, but there's much less of an emphasis on puzzles. But the it's actually interesting how few dialogue options are really. I mean, they're dialogue options, but they're also not. Like in The Last Door, it's just asking questions, and this it's actually role playing in some level. That sounds like her problem. So I'm actually interested in who's older here. How appropriate. Oh, that totally sounds like something I would have used. How appropriate. Because they were in the same room? if it was me respond in that situation and responding, I probably would have said like, we were such weird kids. Of course, it was all my fault that we were weird and abnormal. The question is, was it intentional or not? What do you mean? Don't push her. Trust me from experience when I say that doesn't necessarily mean anything. To be honest, I went to like half of prom, and it was with my sister's friend. The plan was to get my sister and all of her friends in, and then just like bail. But I couldn't do that, so yeah, that was yeah. At the end of everything, hold on to anything. I know the feeling. Obviously, because I'm a straight guy, on the going the opposite way, but same thing. They kind of have a Max and Chloe thing going on there. Obviously, they're siblings, I think. Is telling Vi going to be on the to-do list? Oh, here's the journal. I think, yeah, okay. The weeds. Indian strawberries. Kind of like a lot of people. And stories. And, talk about sound and fury, am I right? I mean, this game came out before 2020, so alright, apparently I can't go there again. I'm like, go there, and she's like, no. Wait, can I move over here? No, apparently not. Freaking litter. At least weed decomposes. So that's... I think most of us would want to forget that this past year is happening. 2020 has been such a mess. Alright, I don't know where she is. What's this hollow? Spot on the beach. Oh. This kind of... My first thought was Firewatch. You find the beer and the magazines and whatnot towards the beginning of the game. Oh, wow. There goes my monetization. either I've gone crazy or I've discovered something incredible. I don't even know how to describe it, if I can describe it accurately, but I'll try. I know I want to remember this. Last night I went out to Willow Creek Park to take some water samples. All of us on the contaminated water team are taking samples, hundreds of them, in order to collect a wide range of various plants around the state. It was late. Around 11, and I wasn't supposed to be there. The park officially closes at 9. I was in a working mood. I was in a working mood, though, and it's an easy enough matter to climb over the fence, which is only waist high. The moon was almost full, so I had no problem seeing. I was taking my first samples when I noticed the swans, and here is where I struggled to reconcile what I saw with the rules of reality. A flock of swans flew in and landed in the shallow waters near the shore. The flap of their wings against their body made the whistling noise so characteristic of the tundra swan. I looked up and saw them coming closer and closer to land. That was the first odd thing, that they would get so close to the shore. Then do swans not go close to shore? I don't know. I'm not an ornithologist. Then, as they reached the sand, their bodies began to shift, to mold into something else. They became, I do not know how to say it, human. Oh, so there's, that's a pretty classic story of, animals shedding their skins and becoming human. So, I'm guessing that's where the mom is. And these creatures stooped to pick them up and carry them in their hands. They had not seen me. I was hidden behind a rock, and so I continued to watch. There were 5 of them, 2 men and 3 women. They were naked. In the moonlight, their skin was a pearly white. Their hair was dark and long. They were all so slender, their bones jutted out, and their necks were long. They spoke to... Now I'm thinking of the aliens, or the Kaminoans from Attack of the Clones, which I haven't seen in years. It's been a long time. They spoke to each other, but it was too far away to hear the words. After a few moments, they put their feathers down in a thicket of trees and walked into the forest, each going a separate way. I waited an hour for them to come back, but they didn't, so I left. I would have liked to investigate the feathers, but I didn't want them to know I'd been nearby. Now it feels like a missed opportunity. This is what I've seen. Reading over what I've written, I doubt myself again and again. I would too, man. There must have been some kind of explanation, some piece of the puzzle I was missing, but this is what I've seen. I can't get the image of these creatures out of my mind. I returned to October 29th. I returned to the park last night. I waited until 2 a.m., but I saw nothing. Perhaps they don't come out every night, or perhaps I thought I saw them, but my medication has been the same for years now, though, so the idea of it suddenly causing this kind of abnormality is alarming. If I had changed brands or started taking a different dosage or forgotten to take my pills for several days in a row, but none of those ifs are true, so I can't be judged to have an impact on the situation. Well, I mean, maybe the chemicals just had a long-term effect that you didn't, but whatever. That's a pretty far stretch. If this was real life, I would believe that, though, over the Swan People account. Could hardly concentrate as I drove to the EnviroCorp offices to perform the nitrogen load tests. When it began to... I'm sorry, EnviroCorp is such a, I don't know, generic and name for it. Yeah. I forgot to turn on the wipers until the windshield was swimming with little torrent of water. I'll go out again tonight, and if I don't see them, then I'll assume it was all foolishness. Weird. So there's some supernatural stuff going on here. That's cool. Follow the walkway. Oh, yeah. Should I do that? Yeah, I kind of want to just... I don't know. I like the feeling of... when it's not too much, but I like the feeling of, not teleporting. If that makes any sense. Of just... actually... to me, it adds to the sense of the physical space of the world. That being said, I can also definitely see the arguments about why people like fast travel and whatnot. Wait, hold on. I don't want to go inside. I want to go to the park. Wow, that is an empty park. But the winter is when it's the coolest. Well, you can, at least it's when you can enjoy your solitude. I should do Walden the game at some point. Um huh. Let's do some graffiti. It's not, but you couldn't know. You couldn't know what was going to happen. Ugh. When I was in Myrtle Beach, like a couple weeks ago, I went to this, Moorish-inspired castle in the area with my grandparents, and it was really interesting. And it was the family that owned it was not like was not as rich as the Rockefellers, but I actually am now wondering if that was, considering they're both in the South and all that. I'm actually wondering if that was an inspiration. I can't remember the name of the castle. What the? Why is there a phone there? I like this kind of solitary feeling. Huh. What's this? It's probably a spam call. Sarika Bakshi. I probably mispronounced it. Sorry. Jack Prentice. Quick Eats Delivery. Violet Garrett. Sasha Williamson. Lena Garrett. Huh. Who's Sasha Williamson? I think she was probably mentioned in the diary, but I can't remember. I always hated organized camps like that. Then again, the main one I remember is Aaronic Priesthood Camp, and which is a Mormon thing, so don't worry about it, but man, I did not have a good time. Let's see. Let's go to the volunteers shed. Oh yeah, I know exactly. I know exactly. Although I never made the blood connection before, but it makes sense. Yeah, it's gonna be locked. I'm calling it. Oh, well, I'm just as surprised as you are, Lena. Okay. Why tinted gel? What does that even mean? Yeah. People can't. You have to have money to be a volunteer. Oh man, I haven't heard the word cubby in a long time. Now that's a word I haven't heard. Hey, yeets. I'm much more of a fan of the of half sunken statues and Alone in Level Sands. I will arise and go now, and go to Innisfree, and build a small cabin there of clay and wattles made. Was Yeats a transcendentalist? Because this sounds like Thoreau's, like, kind of very, like, simplify mentality. 9 bean rows will I have there, a hive for the honeybee, and live alone in the bee-loud glade. And I shall have some peace there, for peace comes dropping slow, dropping from the vales of the morning to where the cricket sings. There midnight's all a glimmer, and noon a purple glow, and evening full of linnet's wings. I will arise and go now, for always night and day. I hear lake water lapping with low sounds by the shore. While I stand on the roadway or on the pavement's gray, I hear it in the deep heart's core. That's pretty good. It's no Ozymandias, but then again, what is? Better than anything I've written, that's for sure. That's the you know, they say the way to a man's heart is through his stomach, and that's not true. But the way to a child's heart, regardless of their gender, is sugar. I can't open it. This is an adventure game. There's probably something useful in there. Is there something I'm missing? I guess I could look at the other volunteers' cubbies. That word, like, feels weird coming out of my mouth. Like, I haven't even, I, like, kind of forgot that it was a word. I would have loved it if they said if they said it had parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Ooh, interesting. October 30th, so one day later. I have seen them again. It was exactly like the first time. 5 swans became 5 humans and deposited their feathers in a stand of trees by the shore. This time I hid myself closer so I could hear them. They were speaking English, but a simplistic kind, the sort of 5-year-old might speak. They were talking excitedly about what they would do as people. Run, climb trees, leap off the swings in the playground, or have conversation with other people. The notion of speaking to humans seemed to be a daring one, and only one of them, the tallest of the females, seemed to show any enthusiasm for it. Is the mom a swan? Is their mom... Because the title screen was the main character looking into the water and a swan's reflection looking back. So is the mom one of... maybe. When they had gone, I crept over to the trees to get a better look at these robes. Oh no. They were sumptuous, nothing but white feathers on white feathers. Now I'm just having flashbacks to Over the Sarcastic Productions Animal Brides video. I would put a link in the doobly-doo, but 1, if you're watching this, you've probably already seen that, and 2, you can just Google Overly Sarcastic. You can just, like, type it into the search bar and it'll pop up. Turn to bar and speak with them. The tallest female man. Oh, so he didn't steal her. He didn't steal her means of creating of shape shifting and force her to marry him. So that's good, I guess. Hello, she's turned. She saw me. She looked terrified. So swandering the day but can become a human at night. Her kind, whatever they are, can only do this here. This is in spring and summer in the Arctic, where it's too cold for naked humans to survive without frostbite. I mean, yeah, that is true. That PolitiFact rates that. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. There are too many people and we scare them. She speaks English, but she doesn't know another language. She didn't know it was called English. What she knows, she learned from eavesdropping on others' conversations, like Frankenstein's monster. Yeah! Woo! Frankenstein reference. I am definitely gonna play do the Wanderer series on the Wanderer Frankenstein's creature at some point this month. So if you want to be notified when that happens, subscribe or ring the bell. Okay. Margaret. Long, dark, wavy hair. She's always touching when she talks. Her cheekbones are high, her nose is sharp, lips are thin and wide, and her chin is strong. Her skin is bright white. Old-fashioned name. Yeah. Curious about the human. The human. Oh boy. You gotta explain capitalism to the Swan Lady. Huh. All right, so we're gonna go check out the soccer field, and then I'll send send her home, and then I'll send Margaret Lena home, and then I'll pick it up now. Oh, hey, there's another person. It's actually interesting how how desolate this place kind of feels. Oh, the shore. Oh, hey, Merle. I was wondering where you were. Oh, man. Speaking as someone whose family used to go to church every Sunday, I envy you, Lena. Wait, what? Lots of birds in this game. I actually like it. Birds are probably, my favorite, type of group of animals. I don't know. They're cool. Birds are cool. Jekyllstein says birds are cool. Jekyllstein approves of birds. That might have to be my subtitle for this episode. Okay, I was actually curious as to whether or not whether Burrow was a boy or a girl. Looks like she's a girl, unless she's non-binary or whatever. But I don't know. I can't exactly ask her pronouns in this game, so yeah. As always, if I've said something objectionable, let me know in the comments below. I can't grow if no one criticizes me, so. Oh man. Yeah. She makes it sound like she's in Westworld or something. Oh man. I know. I know what Sharknado is. I haven't seen it. It kind of seems like it's oh, that's a good one. Also, I can't believe you were allowed to watch that. Shyamalan. M. Night Shyamalan. Ugh, I hate it. I hate it. I feel like I'm a cat. I don't like sand. Yes, I don't like sand. It's coarse, it's rough, and it gets everywhere. And I don't like getting in the water. I like being like near the water, and I like feeling the water, but I don't like immersing myself in the water. At least not in, obviously I like showers and whatnot, but yeah. Um. Are we talking about swans? She has like one of those translator voices, like they have on TV where you can kind of hear the original stuff, but you're mostly hearing the translator talking. She has one of those in her head. You're trying to I don't know why you're asking this to your younger sister, but da 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 da. The birds say they... you could make that be like a horror character. Oh, for a second I thought that was gonna be the Hunger Games. Da 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 da. I mean, considering the journal, which I presume Merle hasn't read, and the dad, I can kind of understand why they would start to believe that. Um, I don't think the game realizes that I've already read that journal. That's that's not what depression. I don't. What is that thing with the feathers? About a year ago. Something else happened a year ago. I want the truth, Merle! Merle's like, you can't handle the truth. Oh man, I do love that movie. I actually only saw it for the first time pretty recently. Is this the swan cloak? I don't think the mom ran away because you went into her bathroom without permission. Goodbye. I just love it how all the kids are just like kind of just scattered throughout the. Ooh, what are these trees? Now, Massachusetts, on the other hand. I actually lived in Massachusetts for the first 6 years of my life. Another person who disappeared. Alrighty. Let's check out that swan. Oh, sea glass. Huh. It was gray skies and dark waters. I actually am curious about what the meaning of that title is. I love it when titles have, strong thematic connections. For a second I thought it was 100 Dead Men, and I was like, what? Why? How? What? I love that feeling of silence. Alright, parking lot. Alright, let's bike home. Alrighty. Check the to-do list. Alright, it checks it off. Save. Oh, I guess the autosave is at the same time. Alright. So, esteemed viewers, thank you very much for watching. Be sure to do all the usual YouTube things like comment, share, subscribe, ring the bell. Check out this game. So far it's not like the best thing I've ever played, but I also think it definitely deserves more recognition than it got. So yeah, check this out. I've got way more. I've got another video. I got way more videos. So again, if you want to get notified, gotta finish Doki Doki Literature Club. I'm gonna finish That Dragon Cancer. I'm gonna do Night in the Woods. I'm gonna do another really criminally obscure Gothic game called Between Side, which you should check out. I'm actually going to put a link in the description of Between Side and Gray Skies Dark Waters below. And while I'm at it, Last Door too, because those games deserve more recognition and praise than they got. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I will see you. Oh, and Twitter and Letterboxd in the description. All right, bye, Steam viewers.